Hi, the SI meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Tuesday, November 27th. Well, a weak low pressure area is causing some decent snowfall right now in the northern western suburbs of Philadelphia. That precipitation began around daybreak as a mixed bag of rain and snow, some sleet mixed in as well. It has changed primarily to the form of snow in the northern western suburbs, still a mixed bag from the city of Philadelphia, points south and east. You have to go pretty far north of Washington, D.C. area to see any snow or a mixed bag. Closer to the Mason-Dixon line up in the far northern suburbs, there will be some snow later on today. The precipitation is about to reach the New York City region. There, like in Philadelphia, it should begin as a mixed bag and then gradually work its way over to snow in the northern and western suburbs of New York City with some accumulations there, just like in the Philadelphia suburbs. Let's take a look at the latest surface map. Here's that low pressure area right now in Virginia. It'll gradually work its way to the western Atlantic later on today, and from this position here later in the day, some colder air will actually feed in from the north and west, and the storm, we talked about the possibility yesterday for the storm to slowly intensify as it reaches the western Atlantic. At the same time, some colder air moves in. We'll have to watch for that later in the day. If that does indeed turn out to be the case, that'll probably be the worst time for the road conditions, mid-late afternoon into the early part of the evening, with some hangback and some snow. At the same time, it gets at or below freezing in some of the northern and western suburbs of the Philadelphia region. In fact, that colder air will work its way all the way down to the coast, so I expect any rain falling this morning and afternoon in the southern New Jersey area, central New Jersey, will gradually work its way over to snow later on in the day as well. Could even be a trace of snow all the way down to the South Jersey coast, central Jersey coast by the end of today as this colder air wraps in. Well, here's the latest infrared satellite loop from the SSEC Wisconsin website. A wide area of clouds here associated with a couple of lows along this frontal system here in the eastern states. Kind of separate batches of precipitation here. It may not be precipitating constantly all day. There may be some variation in the intensity of the precipitation. One batch kind of moving through during the morning hours. And here's a whole second area we'll have to watch for, again, for the possibility of this area down in the south central part of the U.S. to help intensify the low as it reaches the western Atlantic later on today into the early part of the evening. Lots of clear skies here behind this whole system, and the rest of the week looks pretty decent here in the east, albeit on the cold side. Here's the latest radar loop, and again, there's this one batch of precipitation right now, mainly in the form of snow in the northern western suburbs of Philadelphia, mainly in the form of rain in the district and in the city of Philly, south and east. All this mixed precipitation is headed towards the New York City region right now. This one batch of precipitation will be quite intense at times for the next few hours. Then there might be a little bit of a break, and I expect that the radar will fill in here with more precipitation for later on in the afternoon. Again, we'll have to watch for this hangback effect of some precipitation, most likely in the form of snow in the northern western suburbs of Philadelphia, especially later on this afternoon into the early part of the evening. Well, let's walk through the last night's 0Z NAM model run, the North American Mesoscale model run. We'll look at forecast maps for early this afternoon, then early this evening, and then late this evening. This is the forecast map from last night's 0Z NAM model run for early this afternoon. Pretty decent precipitation here put out over the next several hours, meaning the middle and latter part of the morning hours right into the early afternoon. Quite a bullseye here over southeastern Pennsylvania, for example, in terms of precipitation. The precipitation will come down hard for a while over the next few hours, primarily in the form of snow in the northern western suburbs of Philadelphia, far northern suburbs of the district, as well as the northern western suburbs of New York City. In the big cities, a mixed bag, but even that could change over to snow across Philadelphia and in New York City later on today as that colder air moves in. No real reflection of a surface low at this point, but let's take a look now later on today for the early evening forecast map. And here it is, the forecast map for early this evening. Now at this time we do have low pressure over the western Atlantic here, and this kind of a hangback area of precipitation right here, the comma head part of the cyclone here, will be moving into the region. At the same time, colder air kind of penetrates at the lower and middle levels of the atmosphere. So much of this will be in the form of snow later this afternoon and this evening, where it's not snowing already. And at this time, temperatures certainly can be at or below freezing in some of the suburbs of the Philadelphia region, so the roads could actually worsen later on today into the early part of this evening, while this snow lingers as some slow intensification occurs at this time over the western Atlantic. Finally, by late this evening, the low moves off the coast and the precipitation starts to wind down here in southeastern Pennsylvania. Still a little bit here in New Jersey and New York City region by later this evening. All of this should pull out by after midnight, let's say. And again, the colder air will come in as the day progresses. So some areas that have a mixed bag right now, such as in Philadelphia itself and interior South Jersey, could very well turn over to snow over the next several hours, especially by later on this afternoon and the early part of this evening. Stay tuned to the SIweather.com for some updates throughout the day. That's it for now. I'm the SI meteorologist, Paul Dorian.